Are Temple Guards stalwart enough in patch 6.3.3? Okay, they're tough. What else can they do? Let's look at how Temple Guard fare in the shiny new Lizardmen rework. After all, there's no point having slans if they're just going to get dive teamed into oblivion. Recruited for 1200 gold and 300 upkeep, Temple Guard come at 100 entities on Ultra with 10,700 health between them, so even vanilla, they're not soft. Armor arrives at 85 and with shields that block 55% of small arms missile fire from the front. This makes the unit far harder to take down with such missiles than otherwise, but 45% getting through isn't something to be joyous about. Appreciate that's still a lot. Leadership 85 is about as high as a rank 0 unit gets without being literally unbreakable. Speed 31 and charge speed 38 are what we'd expect from Saurus, as in, they are not snail's pace. Melee attack is also 31 as its default value. People don't like this. Attack interval of 4 seconds means no worse than 4 seconds, and that's going to matter. There is no splash damage. Melee defense begins at 38, a fairly solid figure and one I take no particular issue with. Weapon strength 42 is split base 13 and armor piercing 29. That means that despite melee attack 31 at an attack interval 4 seconds pace, the Temple Guard ignore quite a bit of the enemy's armor, and will beat infantry down with this. Having said that, there is a bonus versus large of 16. This isn't eye-popping, but given you're getting this with, I repeat, attack interval 4, means melee attack 47 and weapon strength 58 against the likes of armored chaos trolls. This isn't bad, not at all. Charge bonus of 14 isn't that much, but melee attack 45 against infantry for the first hit is somewhat decent. Mass is 210 per entity. That wouldn't mean as much if this wasn't a charge defense versus large and a charge reflection unit, meaning that entities attacking while an enemy charge bonus is active against them are eligible for double damage. Being upscaled Saurus warriors, they have HUD enforced, predatory senses to expose ninja cosplayers, primal instincts for heroic last stands, predatory fighter for a surge of offense when enemies break, and 2 little bonuses. Sacred duty means that when within 55 meters of a lord or hero, I find that last part to be very important. Temple Guard are immune to psychology and themselves have causes fear, lowering leadership of enemy units provided they themselves are not immune. In a more narrow 35-meter bubble, the Temple Guard passive Guardian slaps 15% physical resistance onto friendly lords and heroes. Yes, there's a lot of magical attack in the game, but I keep saying it, not everything has it. 15% free damage resistance shouldn't be scorned, at least if the enemy isn't magical attack. And especially if that's Kroq-Gar, not a slam. In the red line skills, Sacred Guardian at 3 pips provides melee attack plus 6 and melee defense plus 6. 1 pip will provide melee attack plus 4, and that's badly needed. Note, Kroq-Gars are aided by this skill too. Jungle Dominion grants rank 7 and up Temple Guard, armor plus 10, so 95 now, weapon strength plus 12%, a nice edge, and spell resistance 15%, which does help, especially with burning head-friendly fire spells wandering around the battlefield. In the tech tree, there's some tech splitting going on. It's sequence of armor crafting that provides a bonus plus 10% to missile block chance, so 55% becomes 65%. Source Invigoration makes for minus 20% fatigue buildup and minus 10% upkeep. Guardian spawning is flat out plus 2 recruit rank. Honored Guardians gives armor plus 10, weapon strength plus 10%, and on top of that, plus 10% to the armor piercing component of the melee strikes. Specifically, Martial Excellence grants plus 5 melee attack and plus 5 melee defense. Blessings, major and minor, can make for some significant bonuses, and of course various kinds of magical support can play key roles. So how do we use Temple Guard? Let's be blunt, they're already fantastic defenders at rank 0. They are all but unbreakable in the right situation, but they're still melee. They're always going to be much better at holding than taking territory. They have the same spacing issues I explained for the Saurus themselves, so while they'll win a lot of fights, they won't win them all quickly. They will, however, intensely punish large entity-sized units that push into their ranks and therefore can be hit by more anti-large at a single time. A dragon landing in their midst is probably on borrowed time. Maybe. So it all comes down to making up for that melee attack not being a lot higher. But there was a reason I said something like 3 times, this is with attack interval 4 seconds. These are not Halberdiers. They are going to keep trying until they gouge the enemy's armored hide, so even with absolutely nothing helping, they do not suck. Armor piercing at this pace does not suck easily. So how about compensating for the melee attack? Since there's no spawn-kin mechanic at work, and setting aside the simple option of getting other parts of the army to hammer against this powerful anvil/buzzsaw, there are three main paths. One is any kind of mid-battle support using skills or magic. One is pushing the redline skills blatantly, at least to get 1 pip for the +4 melee attack, if not the whole caboodle. And the last is to fight your way to the end of the Guardian's tech tree and get that juicy +5/+5. You can obviously combine the three. Realistically, even with these features, it's not like you want it getting shot in preference to skinks of the line. Economically and otherwise, Temple Guard belong as blatant elites, anti-dive comp bruisers in a 100 entity unit, there to make your enemy's large units have a very, very bad time. They can do evil things Source Spears simply can't, at least not within the kind of time frame needed to save our slot. It's to the point you shouldn't feel shame in passing on regular infantry fights because, well, they're not bad at it. They're absolutely not there to be so good at offense that you don't need other stuff, at least to speed things up. So yes, use them as anvils, dinosaur your enemies, fire leech them, thunderbolt them, cold one them. Everything works, provided you stop the enemy first. That's what these guys are for. Don't invest in Temple Guard without a plan for the 2 of the 1-2 punch, and you'll be much happier. Take care, and have fun stopping the enemy cold-blooded.